If you don't know, the Valor Coffee Community, it's a place for two things: uniting and elevating the coffee industry. The unite side of that is basically like when we were coming up in coffee. And honestly, now I just didn't see that much collaboration between people in the industry. We were just clueless. And like any help that we got was not from people in our industry. So many people in the industry are willing to collaborate, willing to share ideas, struggles, wins, numbers. They're willing to do all that, but if they don't have like a place to do it, it's just really not going to happen. This website, Valor Coffee Community, is a place for that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a podcast or video podcast, whether you're listening or watching. Thank you regardless. Well, we have kind of like a community launch episode. Mostly Ross. Ross is a first-time host today. Breaks down, talks about, digs into the Valor Coffee Community that we started on Friday, kind of going through different functions and different parts of that, which is super awesome. So great episode, great times with the squad, having everybody back in the studio. We got 2 coffees we got to taste, which was such an honor. And then, as always, we got this program being partnered up with Clive Coffee, hitting you up with that 5% Dizzy on Luca and Eureka products using code VALOR5 at checkout. We got flipping Third Wave Water up in the ante with code VALOR, hitting that 15% off, trying to up that minerality game. Sorry about that. And we got, a new one that the boys kind of dig into a little bit more about SEO optimization with Local Eyes, LOCAL Eyes. EYES. So if you go to localeyesgrowth.com/valor, they got a pretty crazy deal, about 50% off for one-time services and 20% off for recurring services. So we're throwing a lot at you. There's a lot of opportunities, and we partake ourselves. So yeah, feel free to check it out. But man, I just hope you guys enjoy this time. It's always such an honor to share and talk, and excited to unite and elevate with our new Valor Coffee Community. Hope you all enjoy the show. Peace.
Cheers to your good health and mine.
And ours.
And ours.
You want to clean that up?
I don't think that was me.
Okay.
But it's not about that. I'm sorry.
I tell you what, boys.
I honestly might want to clean it up.
Did you want to go clean it up?
You can keep talking, though.
There's actually a towel over there on that, where your bag. Nope. Right there, actually. How about that?
Yeah.
I should have got it.
As my good friend says, messes are a sign of life.
Wow. What friend?
Timmy.
Timmy actually says that?
Timmy says that all the time.
Is it like 100% serious or like, because I mean, it's a good word.
Yeah. I kind of feel like you're like making fun of it or something. I think
I'm not.
I think it's actually, it's pretty serious to him.
Timmy, I just want to say I'm sorry.
For everything.
No, I think the message is like, hey, messes happen. That means there's life happening.
Messes are blesses. That's another one you could say.
Just like community. It's messy, but it's worth it.
You're getting off rolling.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be back here on the podcast.
Back in studio.
Glad to have you, host.
Last week, I had got home from a trip to Montana with my family in the wee hours of the morning.
He was too tired.
I was tired.
That's so sad.
We got home at 1:30 a.m. And we did get to see a car chase happen. And then the perp was running on the grass, but then a cop hit him.
With the car?
With the car. I didn't tell you about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Whoa.
Maybe it's an off-air thing. Although it is public information.
You've whet my appetite, so.
Yeah. Which is really odd, very delirious to like see that happening right in front of Setting Down Road, which I don't live anywhere near that road, but right there.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, did you get an Amber Alert on Tuesday? Remember your Amber Alert? Your phone doesn't have Amber Alerts.
Google's like, nah. I actually usually do, but was there one out or something?
Well, we saw that guy get arrested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey.
Anyways, so I couldn't come into the podcast the next morning,
Because
obviously.
of that.
You're
You
so
were like,
rattled.
After
rattled.
just what happened and didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, anyways, today's a very special podcast. Most importantly, because I'm the host today. Riley said I'm the host today. Before we get into today's topic, what coffees are we drinking? Ethan, you brew these up.
Well, first, I just want to say I wanted to make you the host because I want to see like an experiment of like if the podcast was as bad as possible, would people still listen to it? You know.
But also comment below if you like kind of like this better. Just like
roast me in the comments below.
Dude, people are licking their chops.
Oh, I know.
Thank you, Ross.
man.
Well, yeah, I had the opportunity to brew up a couple of cuppas for y'all.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. I had been the one probably the most vocally complaining about the lack of free coffee being sent to us from all over the
people owe us
world. And man, the people of the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, they heard the cry.
They pulled through.
So we got a coffee from Portland from looked like a newer roaster that messaged Riley/Valor.
Yeah, shout out Alexander.
Over at May Coffee Roasters. We're drinking a washed Ethiopian. And man, I know it's a little bit of an aside, but shout out to Dutch Coffee Pack.
I know.
It's a good bag.
It is.
Bag.
It
feels
is.
good.
It never leaves me disappointed. It was a pleasure opening this bag. And the wide label, it's like, I'm like, this could be a new company just because I hadn't heard of it. But I'm like, this also could be a well-established brand.
It's the best non-custom look.
Yeah, if you're gonna
do this,
if you're just gonna like have to buy a white bag and put a sticker on it,
It's a good move.
you're well ahead. And then washed Ethiopian Hateso lot too. Oh, small lot. Wow, kind of epic, especially for Ethiopia, right? A little single lot. I'm so excited. That's what we're all putting in our mouths at the moment.
A quick note vis-a-vis Epic. Grayson, our editor, I don't know if he wants to remain anonymous. I mean,
He definitely.
that's not an option at this point.
that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And people also wanted what happened to Jim. And Jim, if you're out there, I know you're not listening to this. Thank you for all of your work.
Yeah.
We now have this awesome guy, Grayson, doing it.
He's one of our friends.
He's-
I was
yeah,
in Montana visiting Grayson, and
What?
he was saying Epic.
Uh-oh.
And he kept saying Epic, and I was like, dude, that's epic that you say Epic. And he was like, yeah, it's because I listened to your podcast.
It's like, I guess you are what you consume.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out. Hey, shout out Jimmy from Myth and Legend. He was telling me his whole house, they're an all skibbity no toilet house now. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the coffee. Olympia.
Yes. And then our friend from so far away. Has Nathan ever been stateside over here to GA?
Across the pond.
To the States.
Georgia stateside?
Across the Mississippi.
I don't think he has.
Or I'll just
He may have been to Georgia, but not to. I've never met
I
him
recently liked one of his LinkedIn posts. I hope he sees that.
Well, I recently saw that recently, as in 5 minutes ago, he sent me an Instagram message not complaining, but
Well,
what
what was it?
Criticizing?
suggesting that we bring back the coffee review. He misses the coffee review.
You.
Yeah.
I like the coffee review.
That was my veto. That was my idea to stop doing it.
And
you guys
I
like
rezzed.
You rezzed?
Yeah.
and we're on a majority basis when it comes to decision making on the podcast.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to dig into the operating agreement, we're unanimous vote. But I am pro coffee review. I think it's fun. And it seems like the people, i.e. Nathan Hanna, is absolutely obsessed.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got one person on your side. How about that?
Hey,
I'll
there's
say
one
Vocal
more.
minority. That's what they say.
More will follow. Rise up, coffee review.
This is the first time I've ever heard anyone ask for it back, though.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, but he sent us an awesome / epic coffee. Olympia, Milton, Monroy, Geisha, Anaerobic, Natural. This thing doesn't even sound like it'd be street legal. Oh my gosh.
What?
I'm going to have to read the description on air.
Go ahead.
We're waiting.
Milton Monroy is one of the most famous farmers in Colombia and maybe the world. This, wait for it, bespoke lot was created as a collaboration workshop on processing with Olympia Coffee green coffee buyer Oliver Stormshack. Oh my gosh, they must have. It's a collab workshop on processing. That's so cool.
Wow.
Go them. You guys rock.
This is all on that label?
Yeah, they really fit it in.
Wow.
It's small placement. Do you think, yeah, most people could read this.
Oh my gosh, this smells insane.
Yeah, Columbia Geisha, anaerobic. It still says light roast. Interesting. Do you think we're going to start doing that on our bags?
Putting the
Roast level?
degree of roast? No. It's on the website.
It's on the website.
It's on the website.
I would rather QR a link to the website for things like that. Or it's going to be on the website soon. I still just want to figure out the QR code thing without having to do another sticker.
Yeah.
It probably just mean less body text on the box,
Right.
which is a sacrifice. But
Well, I forget who it was, but someone commented on one of our videos that we keep saying we want to do QR and we never do it.
and
Someone
calling us
said
out, that was roasting us.
Yeah. And it's like, we're the ones that are doing the roasting.
Hey,
Mister.
let us do the roasting.
Yeah.
Let him
At any
roast.
rate, though, today's did you want to say something else about the coffees, big guy?
Maybe we could just talk about them later if anybody's picking up a flavor note that they want to share with the group.
Oh.
What was the constant between these coffees? Like, how did you brew them? Anything similar from coffee to coffee that you want to share?
I actually did the exact same thing
Third wave water.
with
About third wave water.
talk about what? I
Was there
was
a commonality that really unlocked
I really tried to tee you up.
the vibrancy.
the vibrancy, the
Yeah.
60% improvement. Well, let me say something real quick as well. Sorry, Ross. I was excited. I see like the pros when they're talking about making a pour over about like their doses of like water, their pours,
Their pulses.
their pulses.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to really focus on that this time. And so I was doing like these 50-gram pulses on the Fellow XF. And it was epic. The Fellow XF just makes me feel so good inside because of how well it like drains,
Mm.
but not too fast,
Mhm.
not too slow. Had the grind. I usually was grinding a little finer, but Paul had been brewing tan lines at a vacation trip, and he was talking about his grind setting. And I was like, well, I guess I'll try 10.5 on our little EK.
And
Anyways, I brewed it up with third wave water.
yeah,
Okay. And I think that shows in the cup.
yeah, agreed.
And every time I talk about this, I'm always like, why? Why do we just have epic mineral content here? We need to grow this thing, man. Not just us and not just the people at home and not just the cafes, but we gotta normalize
Go there.
high mineral content for your brewing,
Specifically for filter.
specifically for filter.
But they also have an espresso profile.
They also have an espresso profile and a low acid profile. Have we strayed from the classic light profile yet? No.
I've strayed into espresso at home.
Care to comment?
It's amazing.
Do you remember when we said care to comment like a lot?
Yes, I do. I think people miss it, like me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get you boys to start using third wave water at home.
Yeah. I've got my Bun reservoir brewer.
Yeah. Every time I walk into your house and see that, I'm just like, I forgot that you have that.
Yeah. I can only brew dark coffee there and it tastes good. Like I can't brew nice fancy coffees and it tastes good.
We've got maybe even arriving today, the new Fellow Aiden. I think is what it's
The
called.
brewer?
Brewers. Yeah,
Who
we've got
works
4
here?
of them coming. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
I'm like, do I want to kind of impose my ownership and take one
Well, we could,
a little bit?
if we all take one, then
we
there's
have one to
left.
sell. Yeah.
I get weekends. We could do like a custody thing.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really stoked about
Holidays.
that. When we tried that at Expo, speaking of Expo, just booked our hotel room for Houston, April.
Houston
Let's
bound,
go.
baby.
Uh,
Live podcast.
Had to get out ahead of that one after they all booked up last time. Yeah, that'll be a live podcast.
I know.
Shirley.
We talked about it.
And don't call me Shirley. But the Aiden, the carafe, that's my huge thing about it. You guys remember the carafe?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
absolutely.
Ooh, I just got chills
Oh
thinking
my
about that
gosh,
carafe,
carafes. Oh.
dude. We sell the Bonavita connoisseur.
Cup. Yeah.
I think it's called the connoisseur now.
Yep.
And that brewer and just other brewers I've had. My biggest critique on home drip brewers is that the top of the carafe, like there's like a lip on the top. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And so like the hole is here, but the actual top extends out to like here, and then it goes down. So you can't get anything down there easy enough. The Aiden, or at least the demo one that I use, and I really hope it's the same, because if not, I'm going to be upset.
Royally mad.
You take the lid off, and it's just like straight walls
Yep.
down the side. And you can just like get your hand in there and clean. And that's what I'm excited about. And the coffee was good. I'm excited about the coffee it makes too. But I'm really excited about the
trust that.
craft.
We trust that they're going to, make the right brewing tech.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It has essentially a switch on the inside where you can adjust the shower head to be like full pot of coffee versus like single.
Oh,
cup.
Yep.
Very nice.
Which is kind of sick.
We're going to have to put some third wave water in that Aiden.
Ooh.
And speaking of third wave water, if you use code VALOR at checkout,
15% off
it's now 15%.
15%
So
off.
that's more than 10.
We got you guys a 5% bump, and Third Wave Water gave you
Yeah.
guys a 5% bump.
I mean, we've said it before, say it again. It's seriously, I mean, it's just the cheapest way to up your coffee game.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
short of buying just better coffee. You know,
Mhm.
if you're buying coffee that is bad, just low quality, cheap, then Third Wave Water will probably help some, but you should probably just buy better coffee first. After you do that, before you buy your fancy brewer, before you buy your fancy grinder, just get it pre-ground, get some Third Wave Water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, even, people do this whole like grinder chase thing. Like there's a video that drops every 2 months or week on YouTube of like new end game grinder, like home grinder.
A grinder to grind them all.
And then there's
Grinder
another
to
one like a
grind
month
grinders.
later, and then people are like, trying to like move up to the next best grinder. And I'm like, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I have like a very nice grinder at home.
Flex.
If I had to choose between using crap water and that grinder, or using like a what's your grinder?
Baratza Encore.
A
crappy
or a
grinder?
Baratza Encore and
Third wave.
water. I would go with that
Yeah.
option.
Yeah. Mine is broken right now. So you might want to get a new one.
Okay.
I also have a Baratza Encore.
Yeah. But
So you
third
could borrow
wave
mine.
water, great
Great.
product. Tear open a packet, put it in distilled water. Enjoy.
Yeah. And now the first 5 people who use code at checkout each day get a TDS meter and a cupping spoon.
Bruh.
Shoot.
What I was going to say, and I didn't want to I don't know how expensive those are in general, but like having that around is kind of epic. The TDS meter,
Oh, yeah.
checking your water at home because you know what you're working with. Because over here on the East Coast, we have softer water typically, but West Coast, typically harder water. So knowing what you're starting with is kind of important.
Epic.
It's kind of epic.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, starting with distilled water, it's just about as simple as it gets. Hey, can I say one more thing about coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone heard from JP McKenzie over at Meadowlark Coffee Co?
I'm sure he loves that.
Coffee
Coffee
and
Co.
Tea Co. If they're enjoying their X Bloom. Speaking of brewers at Expo.
I have not been nor talked to JP since.
Okay, that's 0 for 2 or 0 for 1. How about
Well,
you?
you're the 2.
Okay, I also haven't heard anything. Ross?
We had a little bit of Instagram discourse.
Oh, yeah. Dude, share. Spill it. Spill the tea.
Oh, well, he was talking about my video of me dunking.
Oh, okay.
I
Gotcha.
posted, yeah, so that was what it was.
So, yeah, it didn't have anything to do with the brewer?
No.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll just move on from that. Can't wait to hear
The X Bloom?
Yeah.
Dude, I was reading this ad read when you said all that, so I just thought you were talking about JP in general. I went behind the bar. I'm sorry. I went behind the bar and he showed me the X Bloom. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he brewed me a cuppa.
Yep.
It was good.
Yep.
And I was like, yo, we've had so much trouble with our auto pour over brewers. Not to name names, but we totally name names on this program out of honesty. We tried the Curtis Seraphim, had a lot of trouble with it. Tried the
Tone Touch 4.
The Tone Touch 4, probably more problems with it. Just never really brewed good coffee to us. I've heard people say that they've had success with it. Anyways, though,
kudos.
We've taken both of them out of our cafes, and I was telling JP about that, our woes, and I was like, dude, report back on if this can actually be like a viable
and viable
option for pour over coffee.
Oh, pour over coffee,
which is the best coffee, obviously.
Wow. Well, Ethan, where do you want to move us?
What? You know I'm not the host.
I'm trying to like hand it over to you. I think Ross is like sputtering.
Oh, right.
After that whole like reading the ad read thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to hit this later, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So today is a very important day here at Valor Coffee Podcast
International
Industries. And this podcast is sort of the launch party.
Yeah.
So this just became, let's get the espresso shots out.
Grayson, like put like a party filter over this.
Party filter? It's kind of like sepia meets like Rio de Janeiro.
And it's like pulsing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're really missing out on the video side of this if you're just listening, not on YouTube. But we've been talking about the Valor Coffee online community, the VCC.
Yeah.
For probably a year now. Is that right?
It has definitely been a year.
How long have we said it's going to be out?
Well, initially it was like quarter one
of this year.
But then we launched mid to late
Friday.
August. Yeah. So it's close enough.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the grand scheme of things, like
like when you think about your whole life.
Well, just think about the earth, thousands or hey, whoever. Yeah.
Hey, thousands or depending on what day.
7 days.
Goodness. Okay. We launched it. Okay. And it's hosted on a platform called Heartbeat. And we have these friends that have a little sound guy community, right? Like, sound
audio engineer.
Yeah.
And
mixing.
They've got a whole community of people hosted through Heartbeat. And I just did a little tour of all their features that they've got going on. They've got webinars, they've got chats, they've got forums. It's like, man, this is exactly what we're looking for. And so we tried it out for a year.
Used code Matt Borsick.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah.
Dude.
And just had everything we needed. And so if you don't know, the Valor Coffee Community, it's an app. It's also on the internet. Just if you want to get on your computer, your desktop.
It's also a lifestyle.
It's a mindset.
An ethos.
Really. But it's a place for two things: uniting and elevating the coffee industry. Right. And so the unite side of that is basically like when we were coming up in coffee. And honestly, now I just didn't see that much collaboration between people in the industry. I didn't see that much like full transparency, comparing notes on just start the beginning of our journey, like how to plumb in a GS3 to a coffee cart. The specifics of starting something like that, didn't really see much out there about that. All the way up into like, okay, what about permitting in a pop-up situation. Like, we were just clueless. And like, any help that we got was not from people in our industry. And that isn't in any way to paint our industry in a bad light. It's just like, it may have just been our fault that we didn't like seek that out to the degree that we should have or whatever.
Sure.
But my point is, it's less about our industry's bad, and it's more about like, there wasn't a place for that stuff to happen. Right. So I know that like so many people in the industry are willing to collaborate, willing to share ideas, struggles, wins, numbers. They're willing to do all that, but if they don't have like a place to do it, it's just really not going to happen. It might happen organically in conversation, but this app and this website, Valor Coffee Community, is a place for that. I remember when we decided to open our first cafe, there was just this like looming big Goliath type energy. Like, what are we going to do? How do we do it? Everything from, like I said, permitting to what does price per square foot mean? You know, like, how do you do a lease? What machine? There's just all of these facets, right? And I'm not saying that like the community is a place for you to copy and paste exactly what we did in those scenarios.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, trust me. But I am saying that we have a whole channel on here that is dedicated to cafes that haven't opened yet. So it's a place for people that are wanting to open a cafe one day. They're in the process of opening a cafe right now, or in our scenario, like we've already done it twice. We're able to share some of what we did, struggles, wins, things we would avoid, things we wish people would have told us. And how it works is it's just classic forum style, right? So if you get on the community, and all these features that I'm saying right now, the Unite side of it, if you will, they're all available in the free tier, right? So there's 3 different tiers, right? So the free tier, you've got access to all this Connect, Unite side of things. You post a little blurb in there like, hey, I'm opening a coffee shop. What do your lease structures look like? And then you've got access to all these people that have done it before, are thinking about doing it, or are currently doing it. And they're all like, yeah, I've got a 5-year lease. Yeah, we went crazy and we did a 10-year lease because it was a unique situation. We're year to year. We're like, whoa, year to year, whoa, it's crazy. And we get to talk about it, right? And so that's us uniting around a common interest in us becoming better together.
Yeah, our experience of opening 2 coffee shops in North Georgia, United States, is very different than, Timmy.
Yeah.
Not that Timmy.
Oh.
Different Timmy. Timmy in
Wichita.
And Wichita, or Kimmy in
Santa Fe.
in London. I'm going international.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
we do have a lot of international users.
So, with that being said, it's one thing to listen to our podcast and hear us with one specific experience, and maybe that does help people. I think it does often. But to be able to then take that and be like, hey, I heard this on the podcast. I want to hear what other people think about this as well.
Exactly.
It's sick.
Yeah, it's a fool's errand to think that we are a one-stop shop for everybody's needs.
Yep.
With how specific and like just subjective our storylines are. But getting all these different people together. Dude, what's week 1 been like?
Yeah. Well, we launched, like I said, Friday. And today's Wednesday.
Week 0.
So, we had a newsletter that was going to go out, right? That was like for this whole year on the podcast, we've been saying, hey, if you want to sign up for alerts on when this thing drops, put in your email here. You'll get a newsletter when it's ready. So I thought we had already sent out the newsletter because I think we had maybe like 40 members over the weekend. And I was like, okay, that's like kind of what I expected, like a medium launch. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it turns out we hadn't even sent the newsletter out yet. All those people were joining the community just from hearing Riley like verbally say it on the podcast that had just released.
Oh, nice.
And then once the newsletter dropped, which I think was yesterday, we just got a lot more members. So it over doubled just with like, I think yesterday. So the launch has been awesome. We're talking about uniting and elevating. So still on this unite side, like people have just been really active in the chats and in the forums. I don't know if we want to call them forums or threads. I feel like forums has some baggage, kind of like a Reddit forum. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in a Reddit forum. No,
Sure.
I don't think anyone calls it a Reddit forum, right?
Subreddit.
I've heard people call it that.
Subreddit.
People in my circle call it that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, people in your circle.
Anyways, it's the kind of thing where you get out of it what you put into it. I said this on the welcome Zoom call yesterday with the 5 people that joined, the core 5.
like this is my new group,
Right.
here.
Like a community, like we don't want to just have spectators on the community that are just like taking all the information for themselves. It's like we want it to be an active contribution. And even if you feel like you have nothing to contribute, like just even saying like, this helped me, like, thanks so much, or like asking questions.
Yeah.
I think is really, really valuable. And the more people interact on it, because it just becomes more of a conversation and more of something that's like, this really is like a community of people that are all pressing towards excellence in coffee. It's cool that the podcast is sort of like the heartbeat nucleus behind the community, because
Heartbeat behind the heartbeat.
the heartbeat behind the heartbeat.
Wow.
Because we do so much on this podcast to express our values. So I think it attracts like-minded people to some extent. And so to get all those people on the community sharing their experiences has been really cool.
Mhm.
I want to take you through a couple more features. So I mentioned the pre-open cafes channel, right? So I'm just going to list the other ones. There's the bar room, which is like casual chat. Got a little bit of sports talk in there right now.
A little bit of smack talk. Do you see that?
No.
Yeah, there's some smack.
Yeah. We were talking
Someone
about...
claimed that the pack was going to win Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay, good on them.
And then someone else said they're not even going to win their division
Respectfully. Yeah.
That is probably true. Both things can be true.
That is true.
That is
I
true.
think they probably won't win their division. But
So another
no,
channel.
This is good.
We don't have any posts in here yet, so we'll see how that cooks. But baristas only. No bosses allowed.
Yeah.
Just a forum just for people that are working the front lines every day. And then a cafe leaders forum. That's probably like the second most popular one. I think the most popular one is Coffee Cart, which I knew that was how it was going to be. But cafe leaders, I posted up on this forum, anyone on here leading a team, doesn't matter how small. If so, how many people are on your squad? Just to get to know everyone, There's someone that commented on here that has 6 cafes and a roasting team and a syrup company and commissary kitchen. So it's just cool to like have, like if I was thinking about starting a coffee shop, I would want to know that person's experience.
Yeah.
And this is a place for that. I feel like that sort of connection happens, but it happens sort of like spread out. It happens a little bit on Instagram, happens a little bit in person, happens a little bit at an event maybe, but I think this can really be a place for it to happen in one place. We have another channel that's just roasters. That's cool. And then coffee carts is the other one. And we're always down to like add more channels as it becomes necessary. I just didn't want to like crowd it too much.
Specific sports channel I'm in.
Sports,
Football.
NFL, college football.
Yep. High school football. Luke kind of keeps up with high school football, which is honestly really impressive.
That's true.
So we just talked about the unite side. What about the elevate side? So just speaking selfishly, we wanted to record a ton of training content for our own internal use and for our wholesale partners. That's been I think it was probably 2 or 3 years ago where we were probably on an owner's retreat and we were like, we need to get really good at like media, like we need to get better at content. And thus came the podcast, thus came like investing in more gear, just to like perform at a high level with our content. And along with that was starting to film like our Barista 101 course, which has been the same content that we've done for wholesale partners, for people that are being onboarded to our cafes. And it's basically just a course to take someone who's never worked behind the bar before, which is a lot of people that get into the coffee industry. Like they don't have coffee experience. Take someone like that to, they now have a good foundation for things like tamping, for things like what's the difference between a cappuccino and a latte, for things like how do you get good microfoam, like what's a cafe au lait, and
That's key.
right. That's kind of the climax
Cafe
of the whole
Misto
thing.
versus Cafe au lait.
So point is, we recorded all that stuff and we're posting it in the community. So there's 7 parts to that course. And we have the first 3 parts posted now. We also wrote quizzes that go after each section that are going to be, it won't be like in Heartbeat, but you click a link and you go to like another page that takes you to a quiz. And I know we've said it before on the program, but how awesome is that you can be running a cafe. Maybe you're the only manager, you're the GM. You don't have a ton of time for training. And yet training is like probably the most important thing you can do as a leader, is like investing in your team's skills. And so you just sign up for Plus Teams, right? Which is a tier where you get 10 users. So that is usually the size of a team. And if you have more than 10, it's fine. Like you could probably just like log in with the same email and just have someone else take the course. I get it. There's turnover.
Ross.
Hey, the real world here. And you can say, hey, tomorrow before you come in, do you mind just going through like 2 sections on Barista 101 and take the quiz afterwards and let's talk about it tomorrow. And that's not going to substitute for your training, right? Like you still have to put in the work to like actually hands-on follow up with that. But that's a really good start for someone.
Just for reference, I think if we wanted to spell out the price of each tier really quickly, there's the free tier where you get access to the channels and chats. There'll probably be some exclusive ones in the future, but not quite yet.
Like the football ones.
Yeah, that'll be like $1,000 a month.
That'll be to hear our thoughts.
Yeah. And then you have for $7.99, the standard tier, you get access to resources such as the catering estimate, our employee handbook, our position contracts, documents we actually use here and kind of like run our company with. Ones I can think of in the future, like a spreadsheet to calculate your true cost. That's probably coming soon. And then so you get like resources, think like downloadables. And then for $19.99 a month or $199.99 a year, you get the courses, which is like Barista 101. You guys did some awesome videos about some more soft skill type of stuff that are dropping soon. We just call them talking head videos. They're awesome. Very informative, very culture specific largely. And then so that's called the plus tier for $19.99. But then Plus Teams, what you were talking about, is $50 a month. And you get 10 users. So with Plus tiers, with Plus Teams, I think about that number, $49.99 a month for training or $500 a year for training. That's not a lot
for a business
to invest in training. So That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I'm a little partial, obviously, but
Yeah. And, if this whole thing flops, we're just going to use all this content for our wholesale partners,
oh my gosh, yeah.
and,
sure.
and our internally for our squad. That's how much we believe in the content we're making. Like we're not necessarily making it for everyone in the coffee industry, but if everyone wants to see it and learn from it, that's great.
Mhm.
So that's sort of the Elevate side. We're going to be adding more and more content, more courses. I'm really excited to rely on the voice of the community to tell us what content to make. I was just talking with someone on the welcome Zoom call yesterday who's running a cafe up in the Northeast, and he got the plus tier to check out Barista 101. And I was telling him, man, like if you see anything in your team that you're like, they could use some help in a certain area, like tell us and we'll make content about it. It's for him, right? So we're just excited for that. And like through this podcast, we've been able to make so many connections with people, but it's just been like in the YouTube comments, right? Like, and so it's not really like a dedicated space. And like I've made a point to just really carve out time in my day to be active in this community as much as I can. So, for what it's worth, we'll be espousing our thoughts.
Oh yeah, we'll probably start a podcast questions chat as well.
Oh,
I
that's
think
a good
people
idea.
will start dropping those there, and realistically, we'll probably prioritize those going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a perfect example of why this is beneficial. We always say, if you have questions, send into info@valor.coffee, but like having a dedicated space just to host what's already organically happening through this podcast. And that's all just available in the free tier, right? So like the connecting side. So Ethan, what makes you excited about the community?
Thank you, Ross. Can I say something first?
Yeah.
Yes. This coffee is so good.
It's crazy.
It tastes like the Olympia
Yeah.
anaerobic geisha. It tastes like the Ever Ready from Ticonderoga Club.
Whoa.
Which is a cocktail with
I get that.
mezcal, ginger, lime, blackberry cassis. Or
Yeah,
creme de
I think it is. It's like some sort of berry element to it. Yeah.
creme de cassis, and this is amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Hannah.
Anyone out there been to Ticonderoga Club? Anyone?
I think it's my favorite restaurant.
It is my favorite restaurant, dude.
I'm gonna cash that in.
It's just it's so relatable and so good.
I just go after not being there for 9 months. Hey, Ethan,
I know.
Meredith, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's exactly the same for me.
I'm like, oh my goodness gravy. I just feel like so pampered, and it's excellent. It is so excellent. The food was excellent. The drinks were excellent. The service was excellent. The bathrooms excellent. It was such a great time.
If you're in the Southeast, I'm serious. You need to go to Ticonderoga
Run,
Club.
don't walk.
Oof.
Drive, don't run.
It's not a club. It's a restaurant, right?
It is.
It's just amazing.
A humble abode.
There's only one bad thing about it.
That it's in Krog?
That it's in Krog.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
You didn't have to touch Krog now. It's got the exterior door.
I understand. It's mainly just a complaint about the high traffic area and parking that I'm complaining about, which sounds like a total dude who lives in the suburbs.
Hey, paying for
With
parking
kids.
is never fun. The belt line's just getting busier than ever, so parking a little further away near the belt line is now less of an option. So you do have to go for the paid parking. I get it.
Yeah.
I so get it.
Or just be like, I'm gonna have to valet
Or Uber.
or
Uber.
I'm gonna Uber from Dawsonville.
Hey, do what you gotta do. All right. Your question was, what am I excited about?
Yeah.
Dude. Well, I feel like I'm probably the most removed from the relationships that we have outside of our cafes. where, you know, Riley's on IG like all the time, and Ross is talking. And Ross is making these relationships, talking wholesale, talking coffee carts, and I'll just kind of catch people when they come to the cafes. So I feel like this will be a fun opportunity to, I don't know, shoot the breeze with people, ask questions, give answers, honestly, and just hear some ideas. Like being kind of more present in the Alpharetta Cafe again. I'm so curious to see what people are hyped about and like what is causing them to grow, and what are they challenging themselves with, and how could I learn from that?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, a huge chunk of this online platform is for people in your position running cafes, you know, so that will be cool for you to add to that, learn from that. Any more thoughts on the how do people get involved? I mean, you just go to community.valor.coffee.
Yeah, that's the login, and we're kind of working on getting a landing page on the website in the near future, amongst other projects. But for now, I mean, just go to the bio or description of this program wherever you're listening. It'll be the top link. Click on it, and it'll take you straight to joining. And then after you sign up, you're going to use community.valor.coffee, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, since it is a community, it's kind of like an invite basis, essentially. But that link in the bio will get you the link to sign up. I'm stoked. Ethan, do you know anything about SEO? You know what that means? You know what SEO means?
SEO means search engine optimization.
Yes, sir.
Did you think I knew that?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that you know it now because it's been a little more on the front of our minds.
People have been talking.
There's
chatter.
But do you know anything else about SEO? Do you ever think about SEO?
Personally, I don't think much about SEO or like web things of the web.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because you have a lot of other things to worry about as an owner of a coffee company, especially being more towards the front lines. And I think we're all there. Even I, in the marketing and media world, I was being transparent with my friend Kent yesterday that SEO is like 19 or 20 on my list of things that I prioritize. I think a lot of business owners out there would agree. Don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
But we all know, and especially if we've ever heard about it, we know that it's important to rank to get your company showing. So that's why we have partnered with Localize, our friends. If you know Kent, who we talk about, he's been around. He's been on the program.
Friend of the program, from the roastery.
Yeah.
Epic guy.
He and our other friend Zane, they run Localize, and they take the complication of running SEO as a business out of it, and they just do it for you. So we would not partner with them if we hadn't seen the fruits of this ourselves. Yep. They've taken Valor's ranking way up. I'm talking like we're ranking when you look up light roast on Google. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we just want to point everyone to Localize. If you need a website built that's not a boilerplate, boring template from Squarespace or Shopify, a lot of you guys out there maybe don't even have a website quite yet, but that's a great way to start really knocking out some sales for your coffee cart or your coffee shop. Get people through the door, even starting to rank before you open up. So go to Localize. That's LocaleYes. Local eyes.
Eyes like ojos.
.com/Valor, and you will get 50% off one-time services or 20% off recurring services. It's crazy. Crazy deals.
Yeah, I see this being beneficial for really any one of our listeners that are running a company. Obviously, because we're doing it, and there's different facets of our company, right? We're running cafes, we're selling direct to consumer through our web store, we're doing wholesale. We also have a coffee cart. So it really fits into each one of those silos. But a question that we get a lot of times with coffee carts is like, hey, I've got my coffee cart built out. How the heck am I going to be able
Language.
How am I going to get hired?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to do it? And what's the best path forward? And if you, like you were saying, maybe some of those people don't even have a website. They just have an Instagram account, and it's like DM for booking, right? Like it's time to step that up, because if you just have a simple Squarespace website, you can make that yourself, right? And then with the help of someone like Localize, which this discount is like pretty baller for a service like that, can really put you on the map. And then it can get you in touch with the right people, especially like on the corporate side. You know, it's like there is totally someone with a 200 person office near you who is gonna, and their boss told them, hey, can you hire a coffee for our office? And then they're gonna say, like, in Google, coffee catering near me, and then Google's gonna be like, allow location, and they're gonna be like, yes. And it's like, are you gonna even be on that page?
Yeah. We told Kent, I remember one day we were like, oh yeah, we rank for coffee catering easy. He gets on his programs and he's like, beep, boop, bop.
Bleep, blop.
I'm going to see. And then he's like, you guys are ranking like 56 for coffee catering Marietta or something.
Yeah.
And we were like, what?
Right. And then a huge part of this is like, okay, well, why don't you just buy Google ads so that you're always at the top? Well, people see ads differently.
Oh, yeah.
Like
there's a lack of trust.
Every time I see an ad, I'm like, nope, scroll past. 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Click on it. Never. I'm sure there's people that are different than that. But if you're organically ranking at the top, that says a lot.
Yeah. Kent was also, and I'll say this, and we can wrap, but he was also telling me about how, like with companies who in the press, that's how they find their connections with other companies. So it's like, if you're ranking on number 1, you're going to be seen as an expert by people. So that's the more likely that they're going to reach out to you and then publish you in their stuff and then backlink to your website. And then it's all just going to be this web of things that just like keep you at the top. But with all that being said, they know a lot more about that than I do. And they have definitely boosted us and continue to do so month to month. So we cannot recommend Localize enough.
And the whole bit about the community, we always keep it on our minds to keep the content of this program pure, just trying to help people with this content. We're in no way trying to sell you something. It's not wrong for us to try to sell you something, but for the purposes of this program, like I've encountered a few podcasts that I've listened to where they have like good content and then they just start like peppering you with sales. And it's like, it's okay if you're trying to sell me something, but it's just, this isn't good content anymore. And so our intention with the community is what we said, which is like uniting and elevating the coffee industry. And so it's a way for us to connect more directly with you, which is what we want. So community.valor.coffee, which is link in the description of this video. Look forward to seeing you guys on there.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the way you guys structured the tiers. Good job.
Wow, thanks.
I like that someone
We
can
did
just, Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like the way we structured it. Because someone really can get on and get so much out of it if they can't afford it, or maybe they just don't know what they're getting into quite yet. But for the people that are looking to elevate, specifically, and they have like a goal in mind, they can do that at a very feasible rate.
That's right.
Hey, I don't want to be forward about this, and Grayson can edit this out. Do wholesale, like exclusive wholesale partners, get perks?
Yeah. So if you're a Valor wholesale partner, we're either your anchor roaster or like we're in an ongoing relationship, right? So there's a fair amount of people that buy our coffee that will just place 1 or 2 orders, right? Because they're a multi-roaster.
Yeah.
So
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, we absolutely love that.
Thank you.
But if we're in we're in an ongoing partnership, then they get access to the best tier for free as a part of the partnership.
That's epic.
It is epic because that's something we just always wanted to do even before we've had the idea of this community. Like, how can we just get more content and more resources in wholesale partners' hands, especially when they are more than an hour away from us, you know? Because while we would like to be able to go visit our wholesale partners once a month all across the nation, just in the industry we're in, it just doesn't make sense to do that. Like, it's not cost effective given the price of the product that we're selling, right? And then also some people don't even want that, you know, for us to always be checking in and knocking, you know, but if we just have a whole bank of resources available to them, that's just value, right? As a part of the partnership. And so, yeah, ongoing wholesale partners have full access to every nook and cranny of the community.
And I also will have full access.
No, your base level, you got to pay.
I understand.
I'm joking. All right, guys. This was fun.
Hey, what's coming up next week? Want to tease it?
Yeah. You want to tease it?
All right. Didn't we already tease it once and didn't do it?
Probably.
We're going to go through our history, the history of Valor.
Yeah.
The story.
Man, last night we were all hanging out.
Like
Casually.
we always do.
And it made me just think about some of where we've been, because we were in the Alpharetta Cafe late at night talking about kombucha cocktail.
Oh, it's just kombucha and sparkling water.
Yeah.
Everyone should try it.
And
It's a way to make the kombucha last longer.
yeah, we'll tell some kombucha cocktail
Kitchen
story.
deli necessary as the cup.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Love y'all.
Pretty good.